If you're gonna let every single thing that doesn't meet your expectations create some type of dent in your personality, you are just going to chip yourself away over time. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you habits of successful women, but this isn't just some list that I accumulated from doing online research. This was actually me going out and asking a bunch of my friends what their top 3 habits were. I actually reached out to a bunch of different YouTubers who I'm lucky enough to be either friends with or know from our communication online, and I asked them if they would be kind enough to share with us what their top 3 habits were. Most of the people on this list you may recognize, and some of them you may have never heard before, but I'm so excited to introduce you to them today because in their own right, all of the women on this list are incredibly successful. I admire each and every single person on this list, and I know so many of you will as well. So most of them are YouTubers actually, funnily enough. I think I just have a lot of friends who are YouTubers, all but 2, but I couldn't leave them off this list because they are so important to me in my life. But like I said, all of these women, they've really built themselves a mini online empire. They have businesses, they have YouTube channels, they have brands, but we know that to get to those goals, to become successful, a really big part of that is our habits. It's how we show up. And so what I wanted to do was I wanted to take you through each individual person and read to you what their top 3 habits were. Now, of course, the thing is, what you might find is throughout this list, there are going to be some repetitions of habits. But I really wanted to do each person individually so that you could see specifically with some of these habits how important they are, because more than one person actually say it's a part of their top 3. So I really hope that you enjoyed this video. It's something a little bit different. It's not really necessarily me creating my own content for you, but I am going to be kind of like reading these out to you. Let's just make this super chill. Maybe go grab yourself a tea or a coffee. I actually have my bottle of water here because I am trying to #hydrate today, because I mean, you just should, right? That's a habit. Anyway, I really hope that you enjoyed this video. Definitely give it a thumbs up and let me know if you did enjoy it. And also, I have a challenge for you. I want you to leave what your top 3 habits are below. Maybe you recognize some from this list, or maybe you have new ones entirely. But if you are watching this video, let me know in the comments below, what are your top 3 success habits? So I bet you are wondering who is on this list, and I will let you know. So first of all, we have the amazing Rachel Aust. We also have Rachel Anderson from the channel Rachel Lee, and Arna Morton, Aileen from Lavendaire, as well as Muchelle B, Vanessa Lau, and Natasha Solae from Girl Chasers Dreams. And then of course, last but not least, Sam, who is actually my sister-in-law from Samantha Hearne Coaching, and of course, Ruby Lee, which is one of my absolute best friends. So like I said, all of these women have their own successful mini empires, and I'm so excited to share their habits with you. So let's start with Rachel Aust. Like I said, I am going to be reading these out from my phone because I did message all of these people. I'm not just making these up, but we have so much in our group text, I've actually lost the messages. Okay, so if you don't know Rachel, Rachel is an incredible YouTuber. Like, her videos are like on the aesthetic side of things, but she is also a health and fitness coach who has a very successful online coaching business. I have looked up to Rachel for so many years. I've always loved her content, and she said that her top 3 habits are, first of all, scheduling and planning, i.e. time blocking. You all know that I am such an advocate for planning. If you're someone who constantly is in this cycle of just not being able to get things done and feeling overwhelmed, honestly, the simplest thing that you can do is just marry your Google Calendar. And I literally mean legally, no, not really, but just being really organized with your time. It takes all of the guesswork out of what should I be doing. Honestly, I never used to be someone who was organized, but when I just simply started following my calendar, my whole entire life changed. So I love that one. Having directions through regular goal setting. Now, I think this is so important. I am such an advocate for goal setting as well. I just think that if you don't know where you're going, how are you actually going to get there? So I love that Rachel said, if you want to be successful, you have to have goals and develop the habit of actually setting those goals. The next one was consistency and continued effort on projects for long periods of time. And similarly to planning and goal setting, staying consistent, like you need to do whatever you need to do to get yourself to become someone who is consistent. If you are constantly starting projects and not completing them, or getting really motivated but then getting really really burnt out. You've got to find a way to do the self-development work that you need, or the health work that you need, whatever you need to do to be someone who just keeps showing up one step at a time, day by day. That consistency is going to be the thing that gets you to where you want to go over time. So next on the list is actually Rachel Anderson from the channel Rachel Lee. And just like Rachel, I'm obsessed with her content. So Rachel actually does a lot of home organization, home decor, productivity, goal setting. So really, if you're someone who kind of wants to get your mindset right, as well as your physical environment right, then Rachel is definitely the channel for you, as well as she's really into habits and productivity, like I said. So the perfect person for this list, right? Her first was breaking bigger goals into smaller goals so it's not so overwhelming and more attainable. I love this, and I specifically think that this is really powerful for those of you who have a business. You know, when you're setting financial goals or project goals, sometimes when you're standing at the bottom of the mountain and looking up, it can feel really, really overwhelming. But when you just break it down into, all right, let me just get to that first checkpoint, and then I'll just get to that second checkpoint, it's so much easier to take action because you're not completely freaking yourself out by how far you have to go. So breaking down goals is such a powerful thing you can do. And Rachel's next tip was actually to work to a monthly calendar. So very similar to what Rachel at Aust had said, being really organized with your time, working to a monthly calendar. And Rachel specifically said to avoid forgetting things or getting overbooked. And honestly, I think this is really powerful because sometimes it's not even the really big projects that make us feel disorganized and overwhelmed. It's all the mini little details, the administration tasks, or the responding to this person, or the getting back to that email that can sometimes pile up in the back of our mind and make us feel like we are being completely inundated by our to-do list. So if you just have everything that you need to get done for the month laid out on a calendar, you make it so much easier for yourself to just stay organized, because then you don't have to stress about stuff. You know it's safe on your calendar and you'll get to it when it's time appropriate. Okay, I actually love Rachel's last habit. So Rachel's last one was going full steam ahead when motivation hits, and deleting social apps, not checking them when the motivation stops, ensuring I have the proper non-work time. So I think what Rachel's trying to say is here is when you're feeling motivated, just taking action, you know, when you've got that inspiration and it hits, just getting as much done as you possibly can. And then also in that downtime, just really taking time away from it all, you know, reflecting and taking time for yourself and your self-care. You know, life's not about constantly hustling. And when you're not hustling, you feel guilty. No, it's about being productive, being motivated, but then also taking the time back to actually recharge. So next on the list is Arna, and Arna is actually an incredible beauty and lifestyle influencer. She creates makeup reviews, product reviews, skincare reviews. She also does lifestyle vlogs, and she's actually a doctor of music, a violinist. She's multi-talented and incredibly motivating woman to follow, so definitely check her out as well. So Arna's first habit was committing to showing up for a minimum length of time even when you don't want to. Regardless of whether the session was productive, the act of showing up helps to build discipline. And this is so true. Like if you're constantly saying to yourself, I'm gonna do something, and then you don't do it, that's how you train yourself to be. But what Arna's actually saying here is, even if it's not the most productive session, and she's referring particularly to practicing her instrument, but even if it's not the most particularly productive session, when you at least do what you say you're going to do, you literally strengthen that as a part of your identity. So whether it's going to the gym, whether it's working on your business, even if it's not like full powerhouse productivity, just going and getting it done is so incredibly powerful. The next one is scheduling in a power hour where she turns off her phone and puts it in another room when she really needs to focus on a task. Focus is so important. It's crazy how many people get distracted constantly by this. And if you're someone who takes way too long to get things done, I bet you this is the culprit for that. So I definitely recommend this. If you're someone who's constantly distracted by your phone, but you need to get something done in your business or with study or with life or with your career, just put it away. It's as simple as that. I had this thing where I was playing My Phone is Lava because I found myself scrolling too much. And every time I picked it up, I just threw it away, like dramatically threw it on the ground, because it really helped me to just get it out of sight and out of mind. And then Arna's final habit was daily work on developing true self-compassion, so that even when things don't result in what I expected, I'm able to view the perceived failures as opportunities for growth and development. And honestly, this is so important. All of these women have built incredible empires online, like I said, but the path to that success is not just straight up. You're going to incur failures as you're trying to build an audience or build a business. And what you've got to recognize is that's totally okay. If you're hard on yourself when things don't work out, you're going to make it so much more difficult for yourself to feel motivated to keep moving forward. Our next on the list is Muchelle B. So Muchelle B creates content all about intentional living. I live for her videos. They are so beautifully put together. Honestly, they are some of the most detailed and honestly just helpful videos that I think exist on the internet in her niche. We've done a couple of collaborations together all about habits that changed our lives, so I'll definitely leave those below, as well as she was on my podcast, so I'll leave that as well. I'll leave lots of links for all of these women down below so you can just stalk them all over the internet. But Muchelle's habits that she said was, look, I have to go with the cliche, but waking up early. I wouldn't have achieved any of my goals if I hadn't started doing that. However, in saying that, this could be translated into figuring out what time works best for you. And if you're a morning person, then wake up early. Or if you're a chronological night owl, waking up won't be for you, but ditch the Netflix at night and working on your business will. Basically, there's two habits in here. Self-awareness, which is really big, but also just making sure that you're dedicating the time that you need to actually get stuff done. So Muchelle's saying that obviously waking up early really worked for her because she allowed herself more time to actually work on the things that she needed to. But if you're someone who's more productive at night, that's fine, but just make sure you are spending those productive night hours doing things that you need to get done rather than possibly watching Netflix. The next one is intention setting. So very similar to like what Rachel said about setting goals and having those projects. Intention setting. I wouldn't be where I was if it weren't for regular reflection and goal setting practice and setting up my systems to achieve my goals. This is just so important. Like every successful person that I know knows where they're going and they know the path to getting there. Now, of course, there's going to be some elements that they realize along the way. You can't exactly see step 1, 2, 3 all the way to 100, but at least if you know the direction that you're heading in and exactly where you're going, you make it so much easier for yourself. Most people who aren't successful, they just start taking action and like throwing spaghetti at the wall and trying to see what sticks. Just be intentional about where you're going and how you're going to get there. That can make a huge difference to your own success capabilities. And the last one was honestly a combination of self-care habits. I couldn't just pick one. I mean by this, practicing self-compassion, having bounce back plan for when I feel like crap, staying away from coffee because it makes me feel anxious, getting movement into my day, journaling in times of need, listening to my emotions. I know that's like a billions, but I guess one habit is self-care. And this, like very similar to what Arna said, having that self-compassion is so important, but also just taking care of yourself. Successful women, they know that they are their own product. If you want to create content and start a business, this is the thing that you need to be taking care of: your mind, your soul, your body, your spirit, all of that, because you are the entity that is going to help and motivate and help make an impact on other people, but also help you achieve your own personal goals. This is something you must be taken care of. So next up on the list is Lavendaire, or Aileen from Lavendaire. And Aileen is someone that I have been fortunate enough to meet through being in the online space. We did a collaboration a couple of years ago all about us and a bunch of other YouTubers, what we would tell our younger selves, and we have been on each other's podcasts, so definitely check those out as well. But Aileen creates incredible self-development content. Honestly, I think she was one of the first like younger females that I saw in the self-development space. Now she's built her audience to over 1 million and has just an incredible business behind that as well. So definitely, I'm sure you've heard of her, but definitely check her out if you haven't. But Aileen's habits were prioritizing the most important things instead of trying to do everything. So just like the other ladies have been saying, you know, having those goals, setting those intentions, and making sure that you're not just doing everything that you think you should be doing, but rather the things that are actually going to get you to those intentions. This is something I'm super passionate about, and many of my programs are actually built around this concept. My Simply Business program is there because I just don't like seeing people who are constantly doing all of the things when it really only takes a few things done well to build a successful business. So I love that she said, making sure you're focusing on the most important things. Creating consistently. I think that you're gonna find that in some way, shape, or form, most of these women have consistency as a part of their own action plan. Like I said, if you just keep showing up each and every single day, you have to get somewhere. The thing that so many people do rather is they get motivated, they start, and then they stop. And unfortunately, that isn't getting anybody anywhere. And the final one was patience and perseverance. Like, I love this so much as well, because most people who are successful, they had to remain patient. They had to just keep grinding away each and every single day, staying faithful, staying positive, and stay showing up. And then over time, opportunities came that got them to where they are. So patience, guys. It's so important. Next up is Vanessa Lau. So Vanessa, I had the amazing and fortunate experience to work with when she was starting her business as her coach. But Vanessa has gone on to do some incredible things. Honestly, I look up to her now as like my secret coach. She doesn't know that, so don't tell her. But seriously, I am so grateful to have a mastermind with her. She's just built an incredible, like, I can't even say mini online empire. Like, what she has done is just so incredible. She's one of the most resourceful business people that I have ever met in my entire life, and has just exploded here on YouTube as well. And again, is one of those people who just gives such tangible and valuable advice. So definitely check her out. So Vanessa's first habit was being resourceful. And I can attest to the fact that she is one of the most, like I said, resourceful people I know. It's crazy that was her first habit. Spending time finding the answers, not waiting for someone to give it me. I am 100% responsible for my success. And that is so true. Like, you can't just sit around and wait for someone to come hand you your success or the answers to what exactly you need to do on a silver platter. Like, if you want to do something, and again, this is where goal setting is so important, go out there and find the path. It exists on the internet somewhere. I promise you that. There cannot be as much content on the internet in every single niche possible without having some clues to what is going to lead to your success. So be resourceful, go find the answers, stop waiting. What are you waiting for? That's something I would add to that. Stop making failure mean something about me. A habit is I catch myself before I attach meanings to things. This has helped me detach from outcomes and stop taking things personally, which allows me to see things more objectively. Kind of like when you need to snap an elastic band on your wrist. And I love this one so much. So many people make it mean something when they have a failed launch or a video that doesn't do well. That's just data. There's so many variables that interplay with the success of anything you put out on the internet. If you're gonna let every single thing that doesn't meet your expectations create some type of dent in your personality, you are just going to chip yourself away over time. If you do something that doesn't work, so what? Try something else. And then Vanessa's last habit was batching my meetings and leave specific days of the week where I can focus on work. Batching, organization, calendars. I think you can see a trend here. It is just so freaking important for you to be organized. If you are not someone who's organized, definitely check out my video on how I plan my months, as well as how I plan my content. I will leave those linked below because you need to become organized if you want to be successful, as you are definitely learning here today from these women. So our next amazing woman is Natasha from Girl Chases Dreams. And honestly, Natasha is one of my oldest friends here online. Not my oldest as in she's old, she's my age, but one of the people who I made friends with right from the very beginning of my business journey. We have pretty much spoken consistently since 2017, and honestly, I just love her to pieces. We are like basically one mind. There are so many things that we are similar in, and she is an incredible entrepreneur. So she is also a business coach who really specializes in systems and helping people get clients. And honestly, she's just so fun to watch. She has so much energy when she creates content, but like the other women on this list, her content is just so incredibly helpful. So definitely check her out as well. So Natasha's first habit is practicing resilience. So similar to Aileen, you've just got to keep showing up. You know, so many of these women in one way or another are saying things aren't always going to go your way. And if you let that get to you every single time, you are not going to get very far. You've just got to keep moving forward, right? It's not about pushing yourself through to burnout, but it's just about backing yourself, right? Believing in yourself enough to keep showing up. So Natasha's second habit is being willing to do whatever it takes to make it work. I don't abide by the rules of the coaching entrepreneurship space if it doesn't make sense for what what I'm seeing in my biz. Honestly, I love this so much. You've got to create your own rules. While of course you want to be learning from people and reverse engineering other people's success, your intuition and what you feel is right is the most important thing. Now, of course, this is something that comes with time, because when you are just starting out, it's a little hard to know what's right and what's wrong based on your intuition. But as you start to grow in your own experience, you have to start following your gut. I didn't listen to my gut for a long time in 2018, and I basically wasted an entire year because someone told me my idea was bad. And honestly, it's one of the biggest regrets that I have in my business. And then Natasha's is as well, I do the work without anyone else's accountability. You have to be able to do the work without a coach constantly staying on top of your ass. And this is just so important. Being resourceful, like Vanessa said, you have to show up. You have to take 100% responsibility for your success. 100% responsibility, 100% of the time. I just want to give a shout out to you at this stage. If you are still here and you are still tuned in, that just means you are a resilient entrepreneur, because I know that this video is getting quite long. But either way, I really hope you're enjoying it. The next person I am fortunate enough to actually have as a part of my family. So Samantha Hearne, who is an incredible online business coach as well. She started working with people with anxiety and has now moved into the online business space, specifically helping people become bold, step out, be confident, and build that audience online. And Samantha is actually my sister-in-law, so she's married to my partner's brother. That works, right? Again, Sam is one of the most productive people I know. She has achieved so much. I mean, I'm pretty sure she wrote a book in like a week. Less than a week, self-published it. She's just such an inspiring person to follow. And Sam's habits are the way you talk to yourself. I fully and wholeheartedly believe in my success. So this helps in all situations of challenges to keep moving forward. Like I said, challenges are inevitable. Resilience, self-love, self-compassion. Can you see a common thread here? All of these women are telling you, you're going to fail, but it's okay. You just have to keep backing yourself. The next thing is reading and learning. Always be the student. There is always ways to up level, to learn, to grow. When we stop learning, our businesses stop growing. And I just think this is honestly so true. I know there have been times where I've just fallen out of love with learning or reading, and those have really impacted my business and the success of my business. So I totally believe in this, whether it's through free content online and you being resourceful and going and finding that content, or whether it's joining a group coaching program, a membership, a course, whatever it may be, going to seminars, like just actually consistently soaking up new information is always going to leave you with new ideas. And Sam's final habit is speaking my visions out loud. I love this one. I always share my goals and visions with Luke and speak them out loud. It helps me create more energy and excitement around them, and also allows you to hear yourself and your emotion when you say them out loud. Visualization, visioning, scripting, whatever you need to do to just, again, set those intentions, have those clear goals, verbalize them, visualize them. The more crystal clear you are on what you want to achieve, and the more confident you are to be able to even speak those to other people, the more likely you're actually going to back up with action to get to that goal. If you just write or maybe even think about the fact you want to achieve something but never really express that anywhere, it's a really weak way to actually get convicted in those goals. So speak them out, share your goals, shout them out to the world if you have to, but trust me, the more solid you are in your visions, the more likely it is that you'll achieve them. And then last and definitely not least is one of my absolute best friends in the entire world, the incredible Ruby Lee. Now I know so many people in this community know who Ruby is. As I said, she isn't a YouTuber, but she is one of, again, the most inspiring people I know. So Ruby is also a business coach with a massive emphasis on spirituality. She's so deeply connected and she manifests like a mother. Honestly, I just am so inspired by her every single day, and I'm so blessed to be able to just message her and talk to her every day. Connection is so important, but Ruby said one of her top habits is journaling, being able to really connect to my beliefs and action every day. And honestly, this woman is a journaling guru. So many of her ideas for courses, programs, everything that she does really comes from her journaling, her content. I know she is one of the most consistent people I know with their spiritual practices, and I know for a fact that so many things she's been able to achieve in her life really has come from this one spiritual practice. So if you're someone who needs that outlet for creativity, to connect inwards, to figure out what's going on in there and work through it, journaling could be that thing for you. The next habit that Ruby has shared is inviting creativity into my life. This can be in the form of learning new languages, trying out new recipes, or exploring new cultures while traveling. Ruby is also a digital nomad prior to everything that has going on right now. This helps me take a break from business, and when I come back, I feel so much more inspired. And this is something that I attribute so much of my success to as well. Honestly, my income and my business has grown massively since I started my Muay Thai and my motorbikes, and I just think it's so important to have not only hobbies for inspiration outside of your business or your empire, whatever you're building, but also it just creates so much more of a holistic identity that you have for yourself. You are a human being, and human beings are interested in multiple different things, and it's totally fine to have hobbies and things that you enjoy outside of like that main thing that you are working on, which may be your business. And then Ruby's final one was connecting to business besties. Daily chats with you has been the backbone of keeping me really focused and down to earth and excited to keep on succeeding. Honestly, I have like that feeling of like tears in my eyes right now because I feel exactly the same. Like if it wasn't for all of these women, I really don't think that I really don't think that I would be where I am today. Like I am just so incredibly inspired by all of these ladies. I am so incredibly inspired by all of these ladies, and not just from the perspective of being able to watch what they do online, but also being able to share the experience with them. So I really hope that not only this video, well, I mean, it has so many different layers, this video. I really hope it showed you some new habits or new concepts or characteristics that will help you to get to success. But also I hope it introduced you to some new inspiring people to follow that I absolutely love and that I'm inspired by each and every single day. But also, finally, I really just hope that it showed you the power of connection. I just really wouldn't be here if it weren't for these women picking me up when I feel down, inspiring me, making me laugh, making me cry. Like every single day, I'm so grateful to have these women in my life. And I just think connection is such an important part of success. If I was to choose one habit out of this entire list that I truly do believe is absolutely so important, is connection. So definitely leave me your success habits below. I really hope that you did enjoy this video, and I want to thank you so much for watching and connecting. I love you, and I will see you in the next one. Bye guys.